having a very good evening, day, whenever you're going to be watching this. And my name is Trevor Hawkins, and I'm here just to have some fun and chat with a fellow artist and just remind everybody about otherworldly fundraising and what a cool thing it is. And yeah, tonight I will be talking to artist and illustrator Bill Hood, and whom I met at the Superman celebration last year. And he's a really talented guy, and looking forward to seeing what he has to say. Hey, welcome.
Hi, Trevor.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. Really like your work a lot. And of course, coming in to talk, I have some questions for you, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
So what started the art bug for you? When did you start making things?
Forever ago. I was 7, 8, 9 years old. Oddly enough, and I went to the get new glasses, and they had cartoon character glasses holders, little cloth, almost looked like holsters. And I wanted a cartoon character one, but we couldn't afford it or something. Memory slips on that, but I didn't get one. I got just a plain cloth one. And my father drew Yoda on it for me. And it was a fantastic Yoda. And I thought, well, I need to learn how to do that. So it's from, let's say, 8 or 9 years old, I was drawing and practicing, and I've been drawing all of my life.
Very cool. So what about making art really appeals to you on a personal level, or on a maybe an intellectual level, or?
Well, it's almost therapeutic. Just kind of, sitting and drawing and getting into whatever I'm drawing, be that a character, a poster, whatever. Trying to figure out how to place that line, what that would look like, what kind of look I'm going to give them, what kind of attitude I'm going to give them. It's very relaxing for me.
That's very cool. So when were you drawing in front of the TV, or were you just doing it at home on the dining room table, or?
Yes. The simple answer is yes. I have a degree in commercial art and graphic design. I worked in at advertising for a very long time. I've done a lot of portrait work, straight graphite work, ads, various. If it was art related, I have done it. I've been educated in it, and it's just something that, and comic books.
Oh yeah, I was going to get to your influences, but go right ahead, hop on that, please.
Comic books have been with me forever. Every road trip, I had a stack in the back seat with me. I read them as I was going to sleep. I read them as I was waking up. Some of the first artists that I even started paying attention to, and realized that it was the art that I was attracted to more than the story. At a certain point, I started following John Byrne right out of the gate. Didn't even realize that I was following him until he started, going from like Fantastic Four to X-Men to Superman, and I would go right along with him because I liked the look. And then I realized, oh wait, this is the same guy. And then like John Romita, same kind of different, this is the same guy. And then even later, like artists like Mark Bagley, Tom Grummett, those guys, I love them. But yeah, there's some of my artistic influences for sure. I've oddly enough, with Byrne being a big influence on me, I got turned down for a job that I was trying to get with an independent publisher because they said that my stuff looked too Byrne-like. That looked too much like Byrne. I was like, well, I'll take that. I'll take that for sure.
It really doesn't sound like a problem to me.
You're right. It wasn't what they were looking for, clearly, but again, I was like, I'll take that. He's been an influence on me forever. And but yeah, those are some of my comic book artistic influences for sure. But then, like I said, been to college for it, did portrait work for a long time, but did ad work for a long time. I've been doing this sort of thing for 30 plus years now, in some way, shape, or form.
So when was that moment where you like decided that you really wanted to do it all the time and you just weren't gonna stop until
2011? I had published my own independent book and decided that I was going to hit the convention circuit and the show circuit to promote it, of course. And then started adding some of my own artwork to it. I started adding, prints and cards and various other things to what was available at the table. One of the first / biggest thrills that I got was when a fan came up and asked me to do a sketch of my character in their sketchbook. And the page right before what I was drawing on was a sketch of Wolverine from Jim Lee. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I'm in the same sketchbook as Jim Lee, and this guy wants me to do it. And I was like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah. Let's make this a thing. So yeah.
So
yeah, and of course, Jim Lee's a huge one of mine too.
So, do you think more in terms of line or color, or, what about art really pulls you? Were you more? You talking about doing the graphite and stuff? Were you like really black and white, or?
No, I'm more of a color guy. And oddly enough, I'll see. You were asking about lines. Oddly enough, I'll see shapes and structure and how things would connect, I guess, is the way I want to say it. Like, I would sit at the mall for hours just watching how people move.
That's cool.
Watching how the calf muscle, flexes on the person that's walking past me, or watching how the hand falls when they're talking, or whatever, facial tick they might have. I will sit, I've sat at the mall for hours watching this because that's the physical structure of what I want to draw. That's what I want to do. So it's studying it's studying the form. And that goes back to, like I say, some of the portrait work that I've done, some of the other illustrations that I have done over time. I'm sorry, my brain broke there for a minute.
That's fine. Mine too sometimes. But so you're viewing art more as definitely observation of the world around you and kind of reinterpreting. Like,
oh yeah, you can't do art without observing the world around you.
Yeah.
Primarily mine is in color. I prefer color. I have done black and white. I will do black and white, but color to me challenges me more because you've got the light sources, you've got the various colors that are complementary to each other, the various colors that could conflict with each other. Design choices, that sort of thing. I like color.
So do you find that some of your favorite things are influenced by the colors that you're drawn to, maybe, or some of your favorite characters?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a very childlike thing to be um, attracted to the primary colors. You know, the blues, the reds, the yellows, that sort of thing, and it's gonna catch your eye every time. You know, there's a reason McDonald's has the red and yellow.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's gonna catch your eye. So yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just laughing because segueing into Superman, because that's where my brain is going. You know.
See, and that's just it. I say blue, red, and yellow. You think Superman?
Exactly. So we can talk about him for a little bit. So, what drew you to the celebration, and what pulled you to really be about celebrating Superman, and how do you feel about that character? And...
I mean, I've been to the celebration off and on. 2008, I want to say, was my first one. And like I said, I've been going off and on since then. As far as what drew me to it, I mean, as soon as I heard there was such a thing, I was like, oh, I got to go there. I got to see this. But as far as what drew me to the character himself,
yeah.
The nobility, the fact that he fights for what's right, and he does fight for the little guy. The heroism in him, and at the same time, like I say, the nobility mixed with the humility. You know, he could very easily end us all, but chooses not to. And that takes some serious control on his part, I would say.
Definitely. And so, yeah, I'm guessing you might be of the age were you watching Super Friends maybe when you were little?
Sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Like every incarnation of them, from what was it, Wendy and Marvin to the Wonder Twins to what was the Superpower collection, the whole deal.
Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah. I feel like those things, when they're really put into your life when you're young, really put in a nice compass for later.
Oh, and, sure. I mean, they're really cheesy to go back and watch now.
Oh, yeah.
But out of a pure nostalgic thing, I do still put them on. I'll put them on as background noise while I'm drawing or whatever. But it's definitely a moral compass kind of thing. It's definitely the right or wrong.
So when you're drawing those heroic characters, do you feel a lot different as to when you do your other things like regular portraits or landscapes? Or
sure. Because, I mean, there's a lot of times you can go completely off the rails. You can have them do whatever. You know, if I'm doing portrait work or commissions of some kid somewhere or some adult somewhere, they're not going to have lasers shooting out of their eyes generally. Or, you know, flying around with a cape or, you know, pulling a magic rabbit out of their hat or whatever. I mean, you know, the superheroes and the animation and things like that, you can go bonkers with it if you want to. You don't have to stay so grounded.
So, do you like working on things when you have a tight deadline or when you have freedom to do as long as you would like? I mean, how is your work schedule?
I don't like a tight deadline, but I do almost need at least a medium deadline. I don't want to feel like I have all the time in the world and then suddenly I don't. You know, like we were talking before.
Yeah. Celebration.
Yeah, seriously. Like we were talking before. I my last show before the Superman celebration was a couple of months ago. I thought I got plenty of time. No, celebration's 10 days away, and I'm still not ready.
Yeah, me neither. I'm sure we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, no, we absolutely will. But yeah, like I say, I'd like to have, I call it a deadline with a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have too much wiggle room, because then it sneaks up on me. Oh.
So do you work like late at night or early in the morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the short answer is yes. Having a quote unquote real job, I work around that. So whenever I can, when I'm off, I'll get up about first thing in the morning and start drawing out, or I'll stay up later than I probably should to draw and create. And like I say, short answer is yes. I'm working around the clock.
That's really good. I have trouble doing much else than midnight oil, but I tend to find that anything I do these days, like after midnight or 1 a.m., it's kind of feeling good and looking good, but it never really works in the next day.
Right. Well, yeah, my wife will frequently look at me and she goes, "Shouldn't you be going to bed?" And I say, "Yes, but I got to find a good stopping point. And she's like, "You and your stopping points." I was like, "Yeah, I can't just stop. I got to, make sure this is right or this is colored in just so, and then I'll save it and put it away and go back to it another time."
Do you incorporate like caffeine and snacks and rewards?
Yes.
Working?
Hey, absolutely. Caffeine, especially. Usually the Baja Blast Mountain Dew right now. But as far as snacks, not really, just because I don't want to make, a crummy mess or a Doritos mess or anything like that on what I'm working on. But drinks, absolutely.
Very good. Very good. So who is your favorite character to draw in terms of like a heroic, the superheroes?
Well, I know that you've heard the term writer's block.
Yeah.
Frequently, I will get artist block. That I'm just staring at this blank sheet of paper. I know what I want to draw. I don't know how it's going to come out. I don't know how to push it out. So I'll just start throwing down Spider-Man. Spider-Man always works for me. He pulls me through it, gets me on the other side of that wall. Because it's Spider-Man. You can put him in any pose, any position, doing anything, and it works. Generally. But yeah, when I hit that wall and I just can't, I'm staring at that blank piece of paper going, "Oh God, how am I going to do this?" Spider-Man, every time. And then, like I said, once I'm past that hump or over that wall or however you want to phrase it, I'll go on and do whatever else I need to do.
So
but then, no, go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say, but then there's the ones that come to me overnight in a dream, or come to me just as I'm driving home, and I'm like, okay, I need to do this, and it'll fall out of my head with no sweat at all. It's almost effortless. It's just like it's begging to be drawn.
But that goes, and I was going to ask you about your process of sketching or pre-planning stuff you do. I mean, how you kind of get it from your head to the.
I was for a very long time, and still am to a lesser degree, a quote unquote traditional artist with the blue line, and then build it from there. But technology has replaced paper with tablet. But I still do sketch it out with the blue line. I still do overlay it with the pencil, the graphite, and then build it from there with the inks up. It's made it super easy to have reference at your fingertips. Basically, I need to know what this part of the uniform looks like. Pull it up online. I need to know, what this person looks like. Pull it up online. I need to know how to do this. Pull up a tutorial. There's tutorials, everything for everywhere. But yeah, the basic process hasn't changed. It's the tools involved that's changed. So, and I was resistant to that for a very, very long time.
That's very cool. I've not made the jump to digital yet. I just can't.
No, like I say, I was resistant to it for a very long time, but it made my life a whole lot easier.
It does a lot of good. People do, yeah. You do beautiful things. It does a lot of wonderful stuff.
Well,
but then we can hop to the evil side of that with AI coming in after the digital world kind of created a new echelon of understanding for art. Then there comes that thing where you can type in the prompt words.
Yeah. That's a thing that I don't agree with AI art. I don't. I have resigned myself to the fact that it will very likely always be here to some extent now because it exists. But conventions, shows, creators in general are all rebelling against it, boycotting it, banning it. So it's going to get harder for it to be a thing. I almost think it's going to be like I don't know if you remember or not, but like a Napster sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where Napster was huge for a long time. Everybody was doing it. And then suddenly, a couple of lawsuits, a couple of bands protesting it, a couple of people blogging it, whatever, and it's gone. I think that's almost the route that AI, as far as artwork goes, is going to take. It's going to be here for a while. It's going to be a thing for a while. But enough people are going to raise their voices against it that it's going to go away. Especially because you've got, comic pros in the comic industry saying, "Yeah, no, we're not doing this. We're not going to put up with this." So, AI is great, but you can't do it. You can't do a full comic book without your professionals,
right?
Without the people that have been doing it for years.
Because you need their vision and their seeing the world, not just the machine's understanding of what's been done before. Because all it's doing is pulling from the mass history of stored information and just
right. And very often gets it wrong.
Yeah.
Very often gets it wrong. And it's
just, thank God it can't do hands.
Right. Right.
The extra fingers, there's pain on my fingers. But I personally am overjoyed every time I see the 7th or 8th finger, or the 2nd or 3rd.
Now I know it has snuck in on. I want to say it was DC's covers for a month. It was some theme that DC was doing for a month, and like the biggest majority of those were AI. But word got out that it was AI, and DC backpedaled and hired real artists to do these covers for that theme. And like I said, that's all backlash. It's all protest. It's not gonna be around. Like I say, it's gonna do the Napster. I really do feel like it's going to.
That's a very good take and a thoughtful. Yeah, it'll run its course, and then I find it interesting that it does that kind of thing where most everything just looks airbrushed, super smooth and soft.
Yes, it's too clean.
Right, it's too clean. Its decision about what the best art is a lot of what you and I and a lot of other artists daydreamed about before, like especially if I'm working with, pastel or colored pencil. It's like, oh, I would love to get that gradation.
Mm-hmm.
But, after that being done, it's like it's a technique with nothing underneath. And
well, and there was recently an artist that I follow. I'm not going to say names or anything like that, just because I don't know if I really don't know that she would care. But she was accused of doing AI art and had to go on the defense saying, no, this is my artwork, and broke it down. And I mean, I have followed her for a very long time, and I can guarantee it is her artwork straight out, but it's beautiful. And a lot of it does look AI generated, because that's what she's capable of. But she got accused of straight AI, and she's like, no, this is the process. And she had to start posting her process on her artwork to prove that it's not AI. And I was similarly accused a little bit ago. And I started posting my process, and I went, you know what? No, I got nothing to prove. I don't need to prove this crap. My process is my process. People have seen it. People know it. I have posted it. But AI is making people question. If it's clean, if it's super, if it's good, if it's super clean, if it looks processed, AI is making people question genuine artwork. And that's unnerving to me.
I mean, as if that was the standard in a weird way, or at least the standard to determine what the honest work is against it, and it's not capable of being that kind of a ruler. But
I mean, like I say, she was accused of it when it went through and started posting her process. I don't know her history. My artwork, like I say, I've got almost 40 years worth of experience in various aspects of artwork. I started posting my process, and then I just went, hey, no, that's too much for me to keep up with. I'm just not going to pull with it.
Coming into process and art, it's like, over time, I understand it's really important to share what you know to younger generations. It's really important to do that. But sometimes, if it's your journey and it's what you've done, I feel like it's yours, and it's part of what makes you special. And if you just put it out for the world to see, I mean, kind of like if Kentucky Fried Chicken really laid out the recipe for their, original recipe.
Right. Well, but again, that goes back to, the standard of the process. You start with the blue line, you get your reference, you start building from there. That's the standards. Pretty much every artist does that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you have a certain color or certain things that you've mixed, you are real life over the years, and things you figured out that are nice hooks for you that aren't necessarily obligations to create good art. I mean, sometimes I feel like it should be kept with you, because if all our work looked all the same, it really wouldn't be all that interesting in the end.
Right. No, exactly. And and that's the other problem with AI is you could put 50 different AI generated characters and pieces up against each other, and they all look basically the same. You can, because it's got that AI computer sheen to it. They all kind of look the same, and they all have that. I don't know, for lack of a better term, those artifacts that you could see, that you can make out and distinguish that it's AI.
I mean, it's just kind of plastic, and then not in a mean
plastic. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But we'll see. Going back, well, let's talk about you some more, because I think I really want to know what would be your dream project, like if you could do anything you wanted with art. I mean, go crazy. What would you do?
Oh, give me a Spider-Man title. Seriously, give me a Spider-Man title. I could draw that all day long. I would put all kinds of different ways to portray him. I've got story ideas that are absolutely bonkers. I would both love and hate having a Superman title to do, because I love the character, but he's one of those that if you don't draw him exactly right, it doesn't look like him at all. There's no wiggle room with him. It's either Superman or it's not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I've either heard or read the scuttlebutt over the years. It's like one of the disparaging words about Superman, talking about him looking like a cinema matinee idol kind of from the 1920s, and that being his basic vibe, like him, you know, really black hair and really, you know.
Well, drawing him as often as I have over the years, yeah, the facial look is, like I said, if it's not exactly right, it's not him.
Right. But I mean, as much as I love it, I'm just playing devil's advocate a bit. I mean, I think the New 52 Superman, I mean, they made him look a lot younger too. I mean,
sure they did.
He almost looked like Superboy.
Yeah, yeah.
But in a way.
But at the same time, that S is deceptively hard to draw and make it right. I almost think that's why they keep redesigning it. Because each design, well, I can't say each progressive design, but a lot of the progressive designs are a lot easier than the Dan Jurgens, John Byrne run. That S is just deceptively hard to get right.
There are a lot of them to me that are. I mean, even the Christopher Reeve S too is particular problems for me to render, especially along the serif part of the top S. It's just
yes, yeah, I completely agree.
But yeah, I mean, now that Superman, when he's, you know, truly coming up on his 100th anniversary, I'm sure a lot of people are going to try to do a massive redo for him. So
sure. And unless I'm mistaken, I think it already happened that the roots of him, didn't it fall into public domain?
Yeah. The roots of Action Comics 1 have fallen. The Fleischer cartoons,
fallen
the public domain, but only that exact iteration of themselves.
Right, the one that couldn't fly, wore the wrestler's outfit. There was no Lois Lane. There was no Daily Planet.
Oh, there was a Daily Star. Well, no, in Fleischer, I think it was it was the Daily Planet in Fleischer, and they had Lois and Fleischer. But I don't know.
I know they had Lois and Fleischer. I was thinking more like the Action Comics. The Action Comics #1, that era.
Lois, but the George Taylor was the name of the Perry White.
Yeah,
it's the Daily Star, I do believe, when it first.
It was. Yeah, it was a Star.
So, but let's see. So, thinking about more deep questions, and my brain is just having so much trouble. What movies influenced you in your creative ways?
Oh, absolutely, the Christopher Reeve Superman, 100%. When the marketing said "You will believe a man could fly," and my little childhood eyes saw that, yeah, I believed it. Believed every minute of it. And then, of course, the Star Wars Empire Jedi. Creatively, as far as animation goes, I'm going to say Heavy Metal, the animated movie. That was the first time I paid attention to the way everything was intertwined and everything was working, and the music fit the mood, and the mood worked. And that was the first time I realized that, in anime, you could have heels clicking on the ground, that sound, or hear the blade coming out of the sheath. The sound engineering and the animation on that movie blew my mind. And I was like, this is just incredible. That was the first animated movie that I can remember that really influenced the way I looked at things. And then, of course, that linked right back to the artwork. So yeah, that was a big influence for me. And as far as humor, the Muppet movie. Love that. The Muppet movie is just incredible. I will continuously pop that up on Disney Plus and watch it.
I like many versions of the Muppets.
Oh yeah, me too.
Me too. Yeah, there's and Sesame Street when I was little was just it was good. It was soothing for the soul.
Oh yeah, were you a Electric Company kid?
That too. Yeah.
Yeah, with the Spider-Man that didn't speak.
I remember. I mainly there was a cartoon segment with that. I can't remember what.
Oh, there was one, but yeah, I don't remember it either.
I remember it to think of it, but and then there's Schoolhouse Rock that was.
Of course.
Morning stuff.
Oh, of course. I mean, I still can't count without going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep.
So
yeah.
In terms of doing your art, how has it felt like when you can kind of get into other people's lives and touch their existence with your work, and you see the good things that happens with that?
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Go off on that a little bit.
No, it's really great. I've got actually a piece that I'm going to be giving to one of probably our friends, Sassy. Yeah, I've got a piece for her that I'm taking to the show. And I've had people come and ask me, can you draw my daughter as a cartoon character for Christmas? And and then I get a picture from them after the kids open the picture with just this beaming face, and she's holding my picture. I just made that kid's Christmas. That and I don't know this kid. I wouldn't know this kid if she ran up and hugged me in the middle of a Walmart. But I'm part of her Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's just a really great feeling. Last year you were talking about meeting Tyler. Tyler Hoechlin, Superman. My artwork, my print of Tyler, actually got someone to meet him because the line was capped. They said no more, and the guy was standing in line holding my art print, and apparently Tyler said, no, what is that? What? I need to see that picture. Bring him up here. So my artwork got him to meet him, and I was like, it's that sort of intertwining into other people's lives that I may or may not ever meet them again. Yeah. But my artwork is a little piece of what they wanted and could help them out. And like I say, I made that little girl's Christmas. I made that dude's day by meeting Tyler with my artwork. But yeah, my commissions and the stuff that I do for people, I thoroughly enjoy it because I know it's on a personal level. It's not something that, I'm going to make 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 of them. It's something specific for that person. And it's something that they want for whatever reason. And I can give them. And that I know that they are thoroughly going to appreciate it.
So it's kind of hitting you, almost kind of more as a calling sometimes than just like a job or a talent.
Oh yeah, especially on the commission level. Especially on the commission level, because like I said, that's them asking me for something specific. Oddly enough, one of my commissions that I did for a gentleman was Lex Luthor's awesome android from the Justice League animated series. I was like, just off the cuff, I said, yeah, sure, I can do that. I had no idea what it was. Didn't know what he was asking for. No clue. But my first reaction was, sure, I can do that. I had to find it. I had to watch the Justice League episodes that he was in and find it and quote unquote research it just to get a feel for the character and feel for what I was going to do with it. So I watched the same episode, I know a half a dozen times before I was like, yeah, okay, I can do this. But it was very...
Or worse.
What's that?
There are worse. I'm being sarcastic. There are
there's worse ways to do that. There's worse ways to spend an afternoon.
This is beautiful.
But but it was specific to him. That's not something anyone else has ever asked me for. That's not a print that I'm going to resell. That's something that he wanted specifically. And asked me specifically if I could do it. Sure. I didn't know what he was asking for at the time, but back and forth emails and this picture being sent back and forth, this sketch, this roughing it out and whatnot. He said, yeah, okay, good, great, rock and roll, go for it. And he got a piece that he was exceptionally happy with. But like I said, that's not something that I'm ever going to mass produce. That's not something I'm going to resell. That was specific to him. And one of the odder ones that I've ever seen. Because who knows what that is?
I'm like, I just think of his battle, the suit he wore, the kryptonite. I don't even remember an android.
Well, it was actually Amazo, who is an established DC Comics character.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but it was a whole different take on Amazo in the animated series. It's not the Amazo that I remembered at all. But like I said, he was more than happy with it, and I was more than happy to do it for him. But it was one of those weird ones that you're like, what? Who? So, but yeah, I enjoy going back and forth. I think that's a big part of it too. I enjoy the back and forth, the fact that they really don't know what they want until I might send them a rough or a sketch or an idea. And they're like, yeah, okay, let's flesh this out. Let's try this. And then I start fleshing it out a little more. And they're like, oh no, I don't like that. Or, let's move this over here. Let's do this over here. And okay, fine. It's a creative back and forth between, that person and myself.
Yeah. It's like you've got two minds working together to bring their vision of something, to life. So
exactly. Exactly.
It's a sacred trust. Yeah.
Oh, it is a trust. Because a lot of times they just trust me to knock it out for them, and and thankfully, knock on wood, I've been able to do it more times than not.
Well, have you ever thought about working for like a major studio or doing something more along the lines of movies and stuff, and not just like animated things, but?
Oh no, I've absolutely thought about it, but apparently I'm not in the right part of town or in the right circle of people. Maybe. That's a hard nut to crack.
Yeah, it's a who you know kind of thing sometimes.
Oh no, it absolutely is. But it's a hard nut to crack. Not for lack of trying. I've had a couple of small little independent movie studios that I've been in negotiations with and I've talked to and whatnot for doing their movie posters for them. But for whatever reason, those negotiations have fallen apart. Either the project stalled or that it's shut down, or they just stopped communicating, or whatever. It just, like I say, it's a hard nut to crack.
Well, I was thinking maybe you could do storyboards too, because I think you're.
I actually did. I have done storyboards, but once again, it was a one-off movie. It was a one-off little. More framing sequences than like an animated storyboard. More of a movie storyboard kind of situation. I have done that. It was a little independent movie, and once that movie was done, they never knocked on my door again. I mean, they were happy with what I did. They used what I did. They paid me for what I did. Okay, great, fine. But they never knocked on my door again. So, yeah, like I say, it's the stability there is severely lacking.
So in that case, what would you recommend to somebody coming up, somebody younger, somebody talented? What kinds of things would you tell them to help them on their journey?
I would say try everything at least once. Don't ever say I can't. The answer is always yes, I can do that. And then if you don't know how, figure it out. Because art is so subjective. I mean, we were talking before, you could tape a banana to the wall and it'd be art. Or just throw a bucket of paint against the canvas. It's art. If you have a particular style, if they have a particular need, figure out how your style is going to meet their needs. Don't say no. Don't overexert yourself. Don't overpromise and underdeliver, but don't say no. But on the flip side of that, be very careful as well. You know, make sure that you're going to get paid. Make sure you're going to get the recognition. Make sure you're going to get the follow up. You be careful, but always be willing to try.
So on the flip side of that, what would you wish you were told when you were
exactly that?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Exactly that. Just be careful. You know, because there's been so many times that I've trusted the wrong person. I've trusted the wrong director. I've trusted the wrong project. I hadn't been careful enough. Because I had been so busy pursuing it. You know, I have to get it out there. I have to get it out there. I have to get it out there. I have to get my name out there. People will take advantage of that. So,
yeah, it's definitely an interesting profession, because if you're a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, it's like you just tell people where you went to school and that you have a degree. That's enough. People don't question. But with art, there's the range of, you know, I came out of a coma 3 years ago, and I've started drawing with these tubes of lipstick, and then you're seen as a genius. Then there's somebody that worked in real estate all their life and took up watercolor, and then their stuff's great. And then you have someone who put themselves in debt and went to art school because that's all they ever wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
people would have the impunity to look at them and say, well, you don't have quite what it takes, and you don't really have, you have not really got the skills that we would look for. And
no, and that's exactly right. And that's kind of the sad point of the whole thing is
there's no standard, as you say, because it can be anything. It's really hard to create a standard as a working artist.
Well, and something else that I have found in my quote unquote storied career, surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Keep the creativity flowing, because you're going to get stagnant. You're going to get burnt out. But at the same time, if you have those like-minded individuals and you have a chain of friends that are that are equally talented, if say they come to me and say, hey, I need this project done, and I feel like I can't do it, but I feel like you can, I'll point them your way. Or if I feel like I can't do it and another buddy of mine can do it, I'll be like, I can't knock this out. Here's my other buddies. He's good at this. Get your chain of influence going, and foster it and nurture it. If like I say, somebody comes to you and you feel like you can't do the project or you can't do it the way they want you to, and you feel like my style might fit it better, point them my way. And get that circle going.
Yeah, the community is like, artists were encouraged to be in our own little solo spheres, to the point where we don't join together and leverage the group aspect, where doctors have the AMA, the American Medical Association, and engineers have their associations.
Right. And there's so many artists out there that are so busy picking at other ones, just picking at them. Well, you're not good enough. Well, you're not doing this, or well, you don't have a definitive style. You don't do this. You don't do. If you're not hurting me, I don't care. And if you're cool with me, I'm going to be cool with you. And welcome to my circle of friends. If I can't do it, I'm going to point them your way. And that's just the way I work. That's the way I function.
Oh yeah,
and there should be more of that in the art community, and there's just not.
Right, and people should treat each other with respect too. I
mean, absolutely.
Aha, we have a question. Can you read that, or I will read it out loud?
Red Crovey. Yes. I don't know how to reply to him except through here. But well, yes, absolutely, I have.
Have you done? Okay, you've done any X-Men work? X-Men 97 Beyond Rogue. Okay, well, what have you done then?
I've got a Wolverine piece. I've got a Nightcrawler piece. I've got a Dark Phoenix piece. Actually, that's all on my DeviantArt site. You can find that under hoodart01.deviantart.com. But yes, I've got a few X-Men 97 pieces, and they are on my to-do list, so I plan on filling out the roster.
Very good. So it's like, as far as the comic book world, it's like you like it all. Marvel, DC, Dark Horse.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, the common question is, is it Marvel versus DC, DC versus Marvel? No, I like it all.
I tend to be that way too, but DC was what I started with.
Well, me too, but I like the drama and the pathos and the real life aspect of Marvel, so they suck me in that way.
So what is your favorite color?
Oh, blue or purple.
Blue or purple.
Either one.
Okay. And do you find that shows up, it sneaks in your work a lot, or
frequently? Yes, frequently. A lot of my pieces will have, blue and or purple backgrounds, just because that looks nice to me. I like it.
Very, very cool. When you work, do Do you have like music going?
I will frequently have something that fits the mood of the art playing in the background. Be that X-Men '97, the Avengers cartoon that was on a handful of years ago, or the Spider-Man animated series, or any one of the given MCU movies. Any of those. It's something that fits the mood of what I'm trying to crank out.
That's very cool. It's something I like to ask people because I have some friends that don't want any sound or anything. They can just go into a vacuum and they find their creative spirit that way. But I like immersing in the vibe of like you said, of what.
Yeah. Doing. Yeah. I don't know that I could do it in silence. I think it would drive me nuts. I really do.
So at this point, if you were stuck on a deserted island, and you could have electricity and have the choice of like unlimited pastels or your tablet, which would you pick?
Well, oddly enough, I'm colorblind to pastels. So I see them as straight flat colors. I don't see them as pastels.
I meant like charcoal sticks. Sorry, I didn't even think about the color. Or basically analog tools to your heart's content that would be dropped nightly.
Analog. No, I would go analog all the way, just because. I mean, tablet has made my life and my art a whole lot easier. But you can't beat your original love. The first love per se.
Do you combine that a lot though? Like you take a drawing and you work it up, and even tonally, like with charcoal, and then you could just digitally photograph it.
I have, and I do. It's becoming far less frequent just because of the technology has spoiled me. I'll admit it. The technology has spoiled me. Because it replicates that feel and the way the paint lays or the way the charcoal lays, or it replicates it so well.
Oh, the brushes, the custom.
Yes, the various brushes and whatnot. But it doesn't have that same feeling. The scrit on the paper, or the brush going across the canvas. It's once again, it's too clean. There's no canvas resistance. There's no paint resistance. There's no scratching of the lead of the pencil. It's just, and you don't realize you missed that until it's not there, and then you go back to it, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember. I like this. I remember this.
And a lot of times in my life, I wish I could ditch all that noise that I would see at it being, but over time, as you say, I enjoy the scritch of that. So.
Absolutely, yeah, and once again, you can't. It's your first love, and anytime I get the chance to go back to it, I'm going to.
So I guess we're coming up on the hour now, and I told you earlier, but I'm going to start asking when I talk to artists at the end of my conversations. If you were an art supply, what would you be?
I actually did give that a little bit of thought, and I think I would be a paintbrush.
Sweet. Just
because you would be able to enjoy a variety in your life. Paintbrush, you've got gouache, you've got watercolors, you've got oils, you've got whatever. I think I would be a paintbrush just for the variety.
That is really cool. And there's a lot of what it says about you is like you view your whole life as a vessel to get things out, and then you get them to other people to see and enjoy.
Absolutely.
The gift that comes through and flows through the tools that you use. So that is super awesome. But I'm really, really honored and happy that we got to talk. And
me too. I enjoyed it. I appreciate it.
So go ahead and give out loud the places you can be found in the social media, I guess.
Well, I'm on Facebook under Hood Art 01. Instagram is Hood Art 01. Let's see for a minute. DeviantArt is hoodart01.deviantart.com. And my own website is williamhood.art. So yeah, that should pretty much cover it.
Yeah, and definitely you've got a new influx of pieces that'll be coming in for people to buy because you're doing a lot of Superman, DC.
Oh yeah, I've got every show I try to have some new stuff. I don't want to hit that. Oh, I've already got it wall.
Yep. But anyway, I guess this wraps up our time. But yeah, both of us will be at the Superman celebration. And
yeah, I'll see you there. What is it? 10 days from now?
Yeah, 10 days. Or not 8. We'll be next. Yeah, it's next week. It'd be next.
Oh, look at this. Kristen was watching.
Yeah.
She snuck in here on us.
Yeah. Well, again, thanks, Bill, and really appreciate it. And I love that you're as thoughtful as you are talented, and you've got a lot to give.
So, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you having me on, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, next week. All right. Safe travels. And,
all right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
And that's it for that. And just thanks everybody that's been watching on behalf of our otherworldly fundraising crew. And we'll be seeing you all online and such in September. And we'll be having more things coming around for you to see before then. Thanks for your time and seeing it now or seeing it later. And have a good evening and be good to each other. Good night.